Hello and welcome to Mirror Fighting One to Watch with me, Rich Jones. This is our show every Tuesday where we get to know some of the rising stars of the boxing world, guys we're going to be hearing a lot from in years to come. So my guest today first came to my attention in July 2019. I was at the Daniel Dubois, Nathan Gorman show at the O2 Arena. It was very early on the undercard. I was one of the very few people that are normally in the arena at that time. Yeah, there was a massive group of people sat opposite where we were ringside in the O2, probably 400 or 500. It was so early in the night, and I was thinking, these guys are in early. They're looking forward to seeing the undercard. Strange, but not the most surprising thing in the world. Then all of a sudden, they just erupted in noise ahead of a 4-rounder. Florian Marku making his way to the ring, an Albanian fighter who grew up kickboxing, had a great MMA record, and he's built up a fanatical fan base in Albania. He's a real superstar over there. That was evident in this 4-rounder at the O2 when he actually won by a late stoppage. He's got a fascinating backstory, and he's really sort of moving quickly in the boxing world. He's been quite vocal in the past in calling out Conor Benn. He sparred with some great guys. He sparred with Kell Brook before his fight against Terence Crawford, and he's got a great story. He's full of confidence. He's got huge support. When arenas are open, he's going to be selling a hell of a lot of tickets. Kind of come from nowhere on the British boxing scene, really. So he's a superstar in Albania, and he's on track to becoming a superstar in Britain as well on the boxing scene. Yeah, I caught up with him. It was great to chat about his story, details of which we haven't really known an awful lot about at this point. Certainly one to watch, certainly one that could go on to have a really fascinating career and be involved in some huge nights. Great to speak to him, great to find out a little bit about his journey. Let's get on to it. Hope you enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed speaking to him. Without further ado, Florian Marku. Florian, you seem to have burst onto the scene the last few months here in England, but I just want to go right back to the start of the journey, really, because I imagine there's got to be a lot of great stories for you to tell. So you were born in Albania, moved to Greece when you were quite young. Is that right? How did it all start for you? What was your early life like growing up?
Yes, I moved in Greece when I was 8 years old, and I raised in Greece. My family is still living there, and I moved from Greece to Europe when I was 18 years old. I started my kickboxing career when I was back then 12 years. When I was 12 years old, I started in kickboxing, and I had many fights in kickboxing, like 110 fights I had in kickboxing. I win some world titles, but kickboxing was not really famous. And I decided to turn to MMA. I had 7-0 all finishes in MMA, but after one fight, I broke my finger and I had to do the operation, and I couldn't anymore grab and do the things that I wanted. And then I decided to come to England and to start boxing. And I think boxing is my thing.
Yeah, and back to when you were a kid, you were in Albania and moved to Greece. So I imagine that would have been the time where there was a lot of trouble and things happening in Albania. Is that right? What was it like when you were a kid in Albania?
Yes, exactly. It was 97 when the government fall. That Albania, it was without a government anymore. The arms was in the street. It was many problems back then. And my family, my father decided that we go in Greece. Greece is border with Albania, and we decide we go there. And there I grow up, me and my family.
Was it hard at first as a kid moving to a new country, just kind of leaving the old life behind, or?
I don't really remember how it was in Albania, because I remember myself in Greece. But in Greece, because my name Florian in Greek, it in the beginning I had many problems in the schools, because my name in Greek means good boy, like no tough boy, something like we said, this guy. And every time I was going to the school, they were saying, "How is your name?" I was saying Florian. "Oh, Florian." Oh, and was making a joke with me till I was fighting a little bit, and then I start putting my reputation, and yes, like this. It was a little bit difficult for my name, but then the things change.
And did you realise quite soon that you were quite good at fighting? You say it was with kids at first, but then when you turned to kickboxing and MMA, did you learn quite quickly that you were quite strong, quite powerful, and good at fighting?
Yes. I think this was my thing. I was small. I was before kickboxing. I was a football player, but I broke my foot, and I gave up, and I go in kickboxing, and this was my thing. I love it from the first day that I go in. I knew that I was for the kickboxing, for the fight.
And you
profile.
and you built a big profile in Greece, Albania, and in Europe. Was that mostly from your MMA career? Tell me a little bit about your MMA
I
career.
think I think it was from kickboxing because I had many fights, but MMA I had only like my true last years
Okay.
in the MMA. But also I grew up my fan base because I had some big fights with some Serbian, Albania with Serbian had many problems, you know, and like countries. And when I beat these guys, the Albanians was very excited, you know, and they loving it. And my fan base grow very fast. And I have many fights with good fighters in kickboxing. And because in England I'm not very popular, but in Europe a lot of people know me because I'm not new in this game. I have like 15 years fighting.
And you mentioned going to Serbia and sort of beating some Serbian fighters and how much the Albanians sort of got behind you with that. You must have been quite proud, given the history and the sort of the political side. But you must have been quite proud to be sort of representing Albania in that way and sort of making the people there proud.
Exactly. Yeah. I was fighting for them. You know, and this was my motivation.
And you mentioned you came to England to box. So had you ever boxed before? Had you ever done much boxing?
My Yes, my trainer from Greece that we started the kickboxing. It was 6 years. His team, because his team was a boxing team, you know. But he have also some classes like they was making kickboxing, and but it was boxer. You know, my style was from the beginning like a boxing style. If you see also my kickboxing fight, I had always the standing of a boxer, a little bit different, but always, and it was not difficult to me to change, you know, from kickboxing to MMA and then to boxing. It was really easy because I had the base from the beginning.
Yeah, you say you had the base and it was quite easy, but what are the little things that you do have to adjust when you focus just on boxing? What were the little details that you had to learn?
I think the difference with kickboxing and in boxing is the head movement and the skiffs. You know, the because in kickboxing you cannot do these things because you will take a knee in the head. You know, but in boxing you can move, you can go. You know, and yeah, this is the biggest difference. I think the head movement. You must in boxing you cannot stay still like the kickboxer. You must move all the time.
And how long ago was it that you arrived in England? How did it work? Did you sort of arrange in advance you were going to come here, or did you just kind of come
Yes.
to England, find a trainer? How did it all work?
Yes, I came here before 2 years. I live now here, and I had an offer before I came for a fight, and this was the reason how I start here. I had an offer from some, we say like managers, but they wasn't somebody serious. When I came here, I understand that they was joking, you know, that they was lying to me, and I arrived here and I say what we are doing now, and they was the fight didn't happen, and I stay here. I say okay, and I start training. I take a house here, and I start training and I start building my life, and I from that day I'm here, and I love England.
Yeah, was it? Whereabouts are you based in England? Are you in London or
I'm north.
North? Okay, and yeah, you say you love your life over here. You're enjoying living here.
Yes, a lot. Now I see. To tell you the truth, before I was seeing Greece like my home, but now I have forget. I have forget how is the. I see my home like England, London.
Yeah, and I know you've obviously got a lot of Albanian fans over here, and I think you know Jerdan Shaqiri and Granit Xhaka a little bit as well. Have they been to some of your fights? Have you been in touch with them?
Yeah. They are friends. Yeah, they are friends of mine. Jerdan Shaqiri, Granit Xhaka, Shodran Mustafi, all these Albanians. Eros Greza, that is from Scotland. He was playing in Scotland. They are many guys that they are playing football, and we are friends. And every time I fight, they come. When the crowd it was, because now it's very difficult.
Yeah, you mentioned when the crowd. So I admit I hadn't heard anything about you really until I was at the O2 for the Tommy Broadbent fight. And
Yes.
I remember it was on the undercard, and when there's a fight at that stage of the night, usually the arena's pretty quiet. There's not a lot of people. There's a lot of empty seats. And I remember there was just a huge group opposite where I was sat ringside, and then I was it's quite busy. And then you came out and they just went crazy. I mean, for people that haven't seen you fight with fans, your fans really do. They're so passionate. They go crazy, don't they, when you fight?
Sure, yeah, yeah. They love me because they see I give my heart when I go to the ring. I don't When I go in there, I don't think about losing. My mind is 100% win, and the Albanian fans, they know me because they grow up. Uh, they see all my fights, how I have developed, and how I am in the because I am not only in one fight like this. I have been all my life, and they see this, and they like me, they love me. I'm a patriot. I'm proud that I'm Albanian. Every time I go with my Albanian flag, and this make them proud, and they support me.
And the fight I'm talking about against Tommy Broadbent, I remember he was sort of showboating a little bit, wasn't he? And then you got the stoppage. Tell me a little bit about that fight, because it was a fascinating one
This
to watch.
this was a strange fight. I had 3 wins, I think, in the 3 or 4 wins in this moment. I had all stoppages, and I thought this fight is a 6 rounds. But till the last moment, we knew that the fight is for 6 rounds. This guy was joking with me when we was in the dressing room before the weigh-in. He start making like, I said, listen, I'm not like the other guys. Don't talk to me like this. I say, he said, no, brother, don't worry. We're friends and everything okay. And when we go to the weigh-in, he start talking things to me. He say, I'm gonna slap you. And then I make him, I don't know if you have seen that, I make him boo, and he was scared. If you see this, that is nice. When we go in the ring, the fight start, and they told us that the fight is for 4 rounds. We didn't know. We thought it's 6 rounds. And if you see, I was hunting him, I was chasing him, he was showboating me, but I wanted to finish the fight, and in the 4th round, I stopped him.
Yeah, and it must have been nice to stop him the way you did after everything that had gone on.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. I have enjoyed so much.
Yeah, and watched you obviously recently in the recent fight that you obviously won very quickly. It seems like every fight you have now, you seem to improve noticeably from fight to fight. Do you feel like you're getting better every time you step in the ring now as you have more professional boxing fights?
100%. This last year, I'm other fighter. If you see me now with 1 year before, in this fight, I didn't show nothing. They didn't see nothing. They saw only a little bit my head movement. Like I start changing a little bit my power and my speed. I don't think many, but no welterweight have my speed and my power. You can see this, Many times the people think that I put my videos in a fast forward, No. My speed is real, and they saw it in the fight, and this is.
And obviously, we've talked a lot about your fans, but do you think that it's important? Do you feel a little bit that coming to England and boxing, you need to prove to people that you're a boxer, you're not just someone with a crazy fan base? Do you know what I mean? Because I first noticed you because the fans were something crazy, but you need to do you feel you need to prove a point to people here as a boxer, not just for the fan side of it?
Me, I am a full package. You understand? Because first of all, I have my fans who support me. When the crowd is back, I can sell arena in my own. Second one, I can box. Whoever have made sparring with me, he knows that. You can ask all the guys. They know my level, and I'm improving all the time. When the time comes to show what I'm all about, they will understand if I was talking shit or if I was good. But I know my abilities, and you will see. We will be here after 1 year, and you will see. We will talk and you will say, "Oh, you had the right." I know what I am capable of.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be talking again in future, and you'll be telling me you were right. And you mentioned some of the sparring and stuff. Who have you sparred some big names? What sort of spars that you've had sort of stand out in the last few years?
I have spar. My last sparring before this fight, not my last. My second last before it was with Kell Brook. I wish him also a good luck to his fight with Terence Crawford. Very good fighter, very good guy. Respect to him, a really, really fighter. I have sparred with many. I have sparred with Luke Campbell. I have sparred with good names, all respect to them. But for me, tell you the truth, I don't see no one better than me. When I go in the ring, no disrespect to nobody, but this sport is 1-to-1. You cannot see someone better than you. If you see someone better than you, then you are going inside there to lose. You understand? And that is the point. Me, I don't see no one better than me. When I go in the ring, I am the best. In my mind and in my heart, I am the best in there. And I give my heart I'm improving, and we're going forward.
And becoming world champion is the dream, I guess.
Of course, and 100%. This is the reason I think God created me to become a world champion. This is my dream from a small kid. This is, I say it many times, and I'm gonna say it much more. Me, I don't do this for a hobby. I do this to survive. I do this to make my family live good. To doesn't have to work anymore. I don't do this for okay. I don't have nothing else to do, and let's do boxing. No, boxing is my life. I don't have nothing else to do. You understand? And that is the reason that I give my everything in the ring.
Where do you think you would be without boxing or without fighting? What do you think your life would be like?
I don't know. I think boxing saved my life, and that is the truth. Boxing saved my life, and boxing have saved the lives, or sports have saved the lives of many child in our age when we was 16, 17. All kids are a little bit more nervous, aggressive, but no, the sport keep you in the straight path, in discipline. You learn about what is life, and thanks God I was from a small kid in the sport, and I knew what I wanted to be. And I had a dream.
And do you wish maybe in hindsight that you'd started boxing sooner, or are you happy with the path you went down?
No, I think everything is right and for a reason. I'm a believer in God, and I think everything is right and for one reason. I don't change nothing. I'm very happy with my life, how the things is going. I'm happy that the fans here in UK are start hearing about me. They like my style. They see me how I fight. I don't bring a boring fight. I bring excitement inside there, and I'm happy about it.
And obviously, you said this UK fans are starting to warm to you a lot more. I guess you're more excited than most for when the arenas can open again. You can get fans in, and you can sort of start to pick up where you left off and have some of those crazy nights, that crazy atmosphere again.
Yes, I can't wait because like this, the world is not the same. The world is not the same, not only for boxing, for sport, but for everything. And of course, boxing without the crowd is not the boxing. For me, it was not the problem. It was my first fight. I had many years to fight without the crowd. I was fighting without the crowd when I was a small kid, But for me, it doesn't matter. Crowd, without crowd, I will perform the same because I don't fight for the crowd. First of all, I fight for me and to make my dream come true. But it's different. When you hear your people to scream about you. You feel like a gladiator inside there, and that is our feeling. We fighters, we love this adrenaline that the crowd give us. That is the thing.
And obviously, you grew up in Greece, and you live in England now. Do you get a chance to go when you go? Do you go home to Albania much nowadays? Or
yes,
back to
Greece?
I
go every. Yes, I go in Albania every 2 months. Every one big fight, or I go back in Albania. I live a little bit. I stay a little bit there. I meet my family members, and I come back.
And your family that are still in Albania, I guess, must be pretty proud of everything you're doing.
Of course. My father have supported me from a small kid. He's my biggest fan. He is, and he was my biggest supporter from a small kid when I was. He was because I stopped school. I was not the best in school, to tell you the truth. I stopped the school when I was 16 years old, and I had an argument with my father because. In Albania, you cannot stop the school. Like we Albanians, my family didn't want me to. But I was telling them that don't worry, I will make money from this sport. And now is the time that I bring money to them, and they're happy. And yes.
And you're making money from the sport, but what would it mean if you could go back one day with a world title belt around your waist to show to your dad and to the people of Albania?
That is my dream, to make. To bring the world title back home. That's my dream, to fight in a football stadium, and this is my dream. Back home with I don't know how many people the football stadium in Albania capacity have, but it will be 100% full, 30,000-40,000. I don't know, but yes, that is my dream, to defend my title there, and it will happen 100%.
Thank you very much, Florian. Look forward to seeing what the future holds. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting ride to watch the rest of your career. And look forward to being able to watch you fight when the arena's open again.
Thank you very much, my friend, for the interview.